So hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Reiki and Peace with Death Circle. And we're coming together in an online community, creating a beautiful space for us to connect with ourselves, with our each other, with spirit, here for healing and inspiration. And I'm Kathy Brook-Wong, Reiki Master, and your host for this afternoon. And I'm very excited to introduce today's special guest healer, Alejendrah Kamille East, who is a personal and spiritual development instructor, a facilitator, and a facilitator of death processes in our Zoom today. And she's an advanced hypnosis instructor, master in NLP practitioner, and a clinical shiatsu instructor, on top of all the other wonderful talents and gifts that she shares with us today. So thank you so much, Alejendrah, for saying yes to this topic and for being here with us today. And can you briefly introduce yourself and tell us what you'll be sharing and what we'll be experiencing today?
Sure. Thank you all. Thank you, Kathy, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. Especially thank my students that are coming. You can probably identify them by the Asian family names. And actually, they got up really early to be here with us. For them, it's like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. So thank you so much. And also acknowledge each and every one of you here. I will share about this topic from my personal experience. I had a death experience myself. So I was way gone on the other side and then came back. And also had the blessing of, I would say, catering the process of the so-called death for my mother after being in coma for 9 days. And also with other clients, and through therapy sessions, and a lot of times I get to help souls be released, souls that are attached to my clients. And through that process, actually, through over a couple of almost decades, got to really understand about what is that process and what is not. So I will be sharing from that experience. And apart from that, well, as Kathy mentioned, I'm from Peru, but I moved to Japan when I was 18. So I am more Asian than Latin American. I have adopted the Japanese culture, and then I lived in Singapore also for about 10 years. So most of my life, I lived in Asia. And that, plus the work that I did with my Inca teacher, has given me a different perspective from the Western perspective about death. I've also studied the Bardo Todol, which is the book, the Tibetan book of the death. I don't know if you, please raise your hand if you are familiar with that. Okay, a couple of people. All right, okay, good. So it is actually quite fascinating. So I will just jump into the program. Okay.
Oh,
so I just want,
sweetie Alejendrah, we have some self-introductions that we share about Reiki.
Oh,
so
all right, go ahead.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
I request that you jump into the program later. We have a few other things to do. Is that all right?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So that was a brief introduction. This is a super important topic, and I'm so excited for you, for everyone here to hear more about it, explore, and open up, and to have more peace with death. But I will be sharing, we're going to have an opening circle. We're going to start with the opening circle, an opening blessing, and I will be sharing a little bit about Reiki, because that's what I do. And I share different energy forms. So we're going to experience a little bit of a self Reiki or a relaxing and heart opening exercise very quickly before Alejendrah gets started with the topic. So to open up today, to create this space for for the people here who are joining for this hour, I would like you to please introduce yourself, to say your name, where you're from, and as we are living, we are remembering people who we love, who have passed. So please say your name, where you are calling from or zooming from, and just say the name of someone special, dear to your heart, who has passed. Okay, so may I ask Doug to begin?
Hey everybody, I'm Doug. I'm calling from Oakland, California, and Benjamin Porteous Moore III and Brenda.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And Susan, will you go next?
I'm Susan Moore. I'm calling from Oakland, and the person I'm remembering is Constance Pegashin.
Thank you, appreciate that. And how about Amy and her partner?
Yeah, hi, I'm Amy. I'm calling in from Oakland, and I'm thinking about Annie Borganicht and Lupe Elizondo.
Thank you.
Okay,
And
I'm
Susan?
Susie. I'm Susie. I'm calling from Oakland as well. I too am thinking of Annie and my friend Mary.
Thank you. And how about Eva and then Richie? Eva?
Hi
I
there,
think
my
we-
name is Eva and I'm calling from Southern California. I thought you said Eva, sorry.
Yeah, Eva. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Eva, I'm calling from Southern California and I'm remembering my dad and my beloved.
Thank you. And Richie? If unmute yourself, please, if you don't mind. Okay, we still can't hear you. If you'd like to mute yourself, that'd be perfect. Thank you, go.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Richie calling from San Diego, California. And I'm thinking about Snickers.
Thank you. And how about John? I'd love to hear from John and Kari. And if you'll please unmute yourself. The mute button's in the bottom left corner, the little microphone. You might be on an iPhone, it might look a little different. Okay, there you go.
Yes, I'm calling from the heart of downtown Los Angeles, right down the road from the US Bank building, one of two of the largest buildings west of the Mississippi. And I live right in back of St. Vincent Medical Center, which had to close down several years ago. So it's an abandoned medical center, very unfortunately. But to lift me out of depression, I travel around a lot because there's no more action in this district with everything having closed down. Now, with
who are you, John?
Yeah.
Will you share who you're remembering?
Bruce Robbins.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
And Kari?
Hi, I'm Kari. I'm going to remember my mom, Joanna, and my brother, Jerry.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And is Julia or Ka or Katrina or Doreen available to say hi and introduce yourselves and tell us where you are? We'll give them a moment. Okay. Anyone who's not able to participate, with their video or your audio, you're welcome to message us in the text box. So thank you. And Alejendrah, how about you? Is there someone you're remembering specially right now? I muted you, so you could unmute if you'd like to share. Alejendrah? If you'd like.
Thank you. Yes, remembering my mom, my beloved Inca teacher, and my ancestors. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm remembering my my roommate Brenda at this time. So as we say in my synagogue, may their memories be a blessing to us all. And so in living our full lives and in remembering our loved ones live with us. And I would like to share an opening blessing. This is like a poem written by Sylvan Cummins and Rabbi Jack Reimer. If you'd like, you could close your eyes right now, just settle in for a moment. Settle in as, oh, thank you, Juliana. She's remembering Natasha. If just for a moment to just settle in and feel your seat on your chair or sofa. If you like to just close your eyes, congratulations, we've all arrived. We're all here and we're all present. And as I hear the words, remember your special people or pets that you've mentioned. And this is called We Remember Them. At the setting sun and it's going down, we remember them. At the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. At the opening of the buds and the rebirth of life, we remember them. At the rustling of the wind, of the leaves, and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. At the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. As long as we live, they too will live, for they are a part of us as we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have decisions that are difficult to make, we remember them. When we have joy we crave to share, we remember them. When we have achievements that are based on theirs, we remember them. For as long as we live, they too will live, for they are now a part of us, and we remember them. So I invite you just to close your eyes and feel the feelings you have, and feel the gratitude and the love that you have in your heart when you remember your special people who are not so far, and they're on the other side, and they're very near at the same time. And at this time, I usually share a little bit about Reiki, but we're going to get right started into an activity. You can keep closing your eyes if you like. And I just invite you to hold your hands over your heart. So if you like to keep your eyes closed, however you are leaning into yourself at this moment, and put your hands over your heart. And let's just do a little breathing together. As our eyes are closed, breathe in deeply. And exhale. And go ahead, breathe in again, deeply, holding it, and exhaling. This time, breathe through the bottoms of your feet into your lungs, to the top of your head. And let it out. And breathe naturally as you wish, and just feel the hands on your heart right now. Do you feel the warmth from your hands penetrate your skin? Do you feel your beating heart, the vibration of your beating heart on your hands? Do you feel the air or the breeze on your skin? Just notice how you're feeling right now. And bring your attention just for a moment to the warmth of your skin, the energy, the warmth on your skin from your hands. The energy that is penetrating from your hands into your skin to your heart. Just imagine that energy is a hug, hugging your heart. And it's saying, I'm here, I'm comforting you, I'm holding you. And just for a moment, remember the loved one that you mentioned, you named. Imagine they're in your heart. The essence of the person is in your heart. And you're hugging them. Sending them love. Gratitude. A special embrace. A loving memory, perhaps. Something silly or funny you shared. And more gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to your loved one. Thank you for their life. And for helping you be who you are. And perhaps notice this love and this gratitude move through you from your heart to other places in your body. And send love from your hands, that energy, the pulsation, the heat, as a warm, warm blanket or hug. Again, to you, your heart, your loved one, and all your body. And if you like, you could give your heart or your heart center a little stroke, a little rub, if that helps, if that feels good to you. And take another deep breath in. And another deep breath out. And another, just a little squeeze on your heart. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes if you like. You could keep them shut if you like. You can slowly, slowly come back to the room if you like or not. And just bless this moment and bless yourself and this beautiful energy that you shared with yourself. Yeah, when you're ready, you can wiggle your fingers and stretch your hands. So I usually share a little bit about Reiki, what it is. I'm just going to say it in a one word. It's sharing energy, life force energy that is all around us, in us, and moves through us. And I will be sharing a little of that energy with you as you go through the processes and hear Alejendrah, and just know that you are being supported energetically by your loved ones and by this loving, cosmic, compassionate energy. So thank you very much for sharing that moment with me. If you'd like, you could put in the chat how you're feeling right now. And Alejendrah, I can't wait. Please unmute yourself, and we're ready. We're ready to hear and to share with you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kathy, for that lovely connection. And there are three things that I will share about, and I dedicate this class especially for one of my beloved students. She actually merged yesterday, and her sister-in-law is here with us, Juliana, and Nabil, the husband, couldn't be in this class present with us, but he's with us. So this is for you, Natasha. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your wonderful soul and your lessons. And we thank all the ones who have merged, have moved on to the next level. Okay, so first of all, I want to know from those of you who are here, what is your biggest fear about death? Please share that first, and then we begin. So we can begin. If you are able to write on the chat, and Kathy, if you can help me actually by reading it. What is your biggest fear about death? Please write that down. So I will be also taking note here so that I can support you better.
Juliana, fear of the unknown.
Okay, good.
That this is all there is, blackness.
Blackness.
That this is all there is. Fear of the unknown. Fear of nothingness. Oh, fear of the unknown, John. Katrina, fear of who will care for my disabled child.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody, for sharing so beautifully. Susan, fear of nothingness.
Okay.
From Susie.
Susie,
okay, that's from Susie. Okay. So from Susie, it's fear of nothingness, and from Amy, fear of the unknown and being alone.
And I think Doreen mentioned about not ready to leave, right?
Not ready to leave.
Yeah.
And Ka, fear of the process of death.
All right.
There's two more. So Kari, leaving my family behind. Beautiful.
Okay, Richie.
Okay, and for Amy, I don't know what to fear.
And Susan, did Susan share?
Yes, Susie is, give me a second. Susie is, so fear of the unknown and of being alone, and also fear of nothingness. Oh, that's Suzanne Moore. I'm so sorry. There's Suzanne Moore and there's a Susie. So
yeah.
You got that? Okay.
Okay. Doug, Kathy?
What happened to Doug? Okay, Doug.
Mine was fear of leaving suddenly. And
I see that.
the pain of my loved ones.
Sorry.
And Kathy, do you have something?
Right now, I'm not afraid.
Okay, good. Very good. Okay, thank you so much. Now that we have this, we can begin. So there is a lot of fear of the unknown, alone, and then fear for somebody else, the pain or that leaving behind. Yeah. Okay. So first of all, let's all do this with me, okay? We're gonna do this. I want you to take your hand over your head. This represents your understanding, okay? And you're gonna do this. Do this with me. You're peeling off that layer of information that you already have. Just do this with me. Okay, this is so that you allow new information to come your way. Very good. Just letting it out. Okay. And that layer, we have the sacred fire here to process it. Okay. So then you are more open and you're more receptive to hear this new information. Something that that I want you to really hear is, and really get, and this is something that you yourselves have to trust, because you have gone through the process of death previously before coming here. You have gone through the process of death, what in human language we call death. And actually that definition, we can say that is not really accurate, because we don't die. So what ceased to exist is the physical flesh, this vessel. But you, as your soul and your divine being, you don't cease to exist. You will be jumping from one form to another form. Got it? So this is why I asked you to be completely open to receive this different kind of information. This is the information that it's more commonly shared and talked about, say, for example, in Asian cultures or even in native cultures. So you will not be lost. You will not get stuck in darkness. Also, after your soul, actually, the soul leaves the body, you will not end up in the unknown. That is not really accurate. So something that you need to really get is that when you are stuck in fear about death, you can actually really get yourself stuck in other areas of your life. Because when you are in fear mode, then let's take a look at your creativity levels. Creativity actually will just diminish because you are fearful. Your mind actually doesn't really work really efficiently when you're in fear mode, and probably you have that experience. Please raise your hand if you have the experience that you got fearful and then you got stuck in your mind. You can't think clearly, right? Things don't flow. And when we talk about, for example, let's think about our physical bodies, health. The more fearful you are, your immune system actually will become weaker. So then you become, prone to an infection, viral infection, bacterial infection, some form of physical disbalance will start showing up in your physical body because of fear. So whenever you experience fear, then immediately do a reality check. That's something that I invite you to do immediately. When fear pops up inside of you, instead of just being carried away by fear and then clouding your judgment with fear, just do a reality check and ask yourself, how real is this? Now, if your mind tells you, well, I am afraid about fear, or excuse me, about death, or I'm not so sure about what happens, then you got to learn. You have to nourish yourself with the right kind of information so that you can at least have understanding about what the process is. Now, Kai, you mentioned that one of the fears is actually that you don't know what the process is. I will explain that in very briefly, because we don't have, quite a lot of time to share, but I'm just giving you, information in nutshells. So from experience, I can tell you that when the soul detaches itself from the physical body, we do go to a place that it's very real. It's not that the soul will detach from the body and it will be there floating around in the unknown. Although there are cases when the soul can actually get stuck in limbo. That happens too. And that happens when the soul didn't really have we can say the courage actually to take the boat or the energy that comes to pick up the soul. So we are on the physical plane. And apart from the physical plane, there is the soul plane. This is where all souls need to go before they get relocated to any other area or before reincarnation. You're so far following? Yes? Got it? So, in this particular process, I got to witness actually with my mother when she was on this on the coma stage. She was in coma for 9 days, and during every single day that she was in coma, I was meditating with her, and I was communicating with her soul, and I could see exactly what was going on. So there was one point, and it was around day 6 or 7, that I could see this energy coming down from the soul plane, and it looks like a very long hose. And the end of that hose, it looks like a little boat. And this energy is described in the Bardo Todol, the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And it's also described in the Egyptian scriptures. So there is an energy that comes to pick up the soul. And what I understood from that experience is that that energy doesn't stay there for ever and ever. It has a time period where that energy can stay there waiting for the soul to make the decision to jump on the boat and then be carried to the soul plane. So what was going on with my mother was that her soul biggest concern were her grandchildren, particularly my brother's children. And then I said to my mom, but what do you do about, being so worried and concerned about them? We will look after them. You don't have to worry about this. Because if you don't make the decision to jump on that little boat and be carried back home, what it's called home, okay, you will miss the boat, literally. And that is how some souls actually get stuck in limbo, because they didn't make the decision to get on that little boat and be carried where they need to go. Got it? And that's the term of a lost soul. And souls actually can get stuck. That's actually, that's a reality. And then these lost souls, when they are not guided, they will be wandering around, and they can get attached to people. So they get to re-experience life through the person who's alive. It's a natural phenomenon, and it happens actually more often than what we think about. Okay, so one of the best things that we can do is to really understand what the process is, so that when we have someone that is close to us, a loved one, we won't be attaching ourselves to the loved one and then being, I mean, sadness is natural, but then to suffer because of the loved one departing is a completely different thing. And souls don't want us to suffer. They want us to celebrate their existence, as Kathy mentioned earlier. So to acknowledge them and carry them in our hearts where they can always feel love. But then suffering, feeling sorrow for too long, that actually can make that soul decide not to move on and want to look after the ones who are left in physical form. That's what happened to my grandfather, my Japanese grandfather. He passed away when I was about 9 years old. And as an adult, when I did a space clearing process for all the houses where I lived in Peru, I got to the house where my family used to live with my grandfather, and I found him there. I found his soul. And then I asked, so Grandpa, what are you doing here? And the soul said, well, I'm looking after you, all of you. And I said, well, Grandpa, no one is here because we already moved from the house decades ago. And said, you have to merge. And then the golden angels came to pick him up and take him to where he needed to go. So some souls actually get the idea that they can look after the ones who are left behind, but it's not real. So then we, the ones who are here, so-called alive in physical form, we can actually help the one who is departing to really move on the journey. So we avoid the soul getting stuck. Do we all have that clear? Yes, can I see raise of hands? Yeah. Do you have any questions about this before I move on? No? Okay. So let's move on to the second thing that I want to share with you today, which is making peace with death. Because if you don't have peace inside your heart, if you don't understand what the process is, you will become prey to your own ego, because the ego structure knows you inside out. And that ego structure will utilize your fears against you. Okay? So ego is not a bad thing. It's a structure that has been given to us human beings in order to navigate through this 3D world. And one of our tasks is actually to harmonize ourselves with our egos. This doesn't mean that ego will do whatever ego wants with us, but we ourselves, we have to transcend that duality. Got it? Because ego is part of duality. We have to transcend that. And in order to transcend that, we have to be able to really be in touch with our soul, first of all, and our divine self. Okay, so far so good. So making peace with death is really very important for ourselves when the time comes for us, because I mean, death is part of life. We cannot avoid it. And if for whatever reason you have learned to fear death, then it's very important that you unlearn that and then you begin understanding what death is. So you can actually borrow the other cultures. I mean, if in your culture you are one person that learned to fear death, just for, you know, because you were taught certain things and certain beliefs were shared with you, and then you take that as your belief. You as an adult and as a conscious person, you can choose differently. you can make a different choice for yourself, because all the choices that you make moment by moment will determine where you go. So think about a trim tab. Do you all know what a trim tab is? A trim tab. Oh, okay. A trim tab is a piece of equipment that aircraft and boats and ships have. A trim tab. I will just draw it for you. And trim tabs are very, very crucial. Hang on. Let me just draw here very quickly. I love trim tabs. Hang on.
So Alejandra, there was a question in the chat. Can we use another word besides death?
You can reframe it. Yes, it will be very powerful to reframe it. What do you want to call it? Yeah. You know, I'm just gonna show you what a trim tab is. Can you see this? This is a trim tab. So this little piece of equipment will determine the direction of the whole ship. So if you're not paying attention to steering well this trim tab, your boat could end up anywhere but the place where you want to go. Got it? So you have to really pay attention to your intentions. Attention will energize your intention, your focus. So if your focus, whether if it's conscious or unconscious, is fearing death and not being comfortable talking about it or not being at peace with it, then your life will just go like that. Got it? I will share it. Kathy, sorry, what was the question? Just want to make sure that I answer it.
Oh, the question was, can we use another word besides death?
Oh, yes. Actually, I created a board game, and I have some death cards here, quote unquote death. And I'm going to share one definition from the deck. Just hold on. Yeah, because reframing it's also very important. Hang on. Is there any other question?
There was a question, any suggestions? So I don't know, Eva, any suggestions for other ways to say death or any question? What was your question, Eva? Yeah, you're answering it right now.
Okay, okay. Okay. Now I'm going to share just some cards. Okay. So can you see this? Yep. Can you all see it? So it says death is natural. Everything in the universe is cyclical. So is life. Think of death as the end of a cycle that enables you to begin fresh. Let go of attachments and be free. So you can start seeing it as an opportunity as well. This is a really good one. You see this? Death is not what you think it is. Not what you think it is. And it says, examine your assumptions about death. Are you willing to embrace a new perspective about death. And that's my question to you guys that are here. Are you willing to embrace a new perspective? So I'm going to share about this from the Japanese. I'm half Japanese, so my culture is Japanese, you can say, and the Inca tradition. Okay, I mentioned about my Inca teacher. So in Japan and also in the Inca world or the indigenous world, we don't see death as an end. We don't see that as that's it, you know, that person is gone. Because what we acknowledge is actually the eternity of the soul. So then the soul just keeps on moving on different journeys. And each journey will help. It's like a stepping stone on a greater journey. And that is actually one of the reasons in both of these cultures, we acknowledge so much our ancestors. It is so, so, so important for us. So it's not the end. Got it? Okay. And Kathy, please help me keep track of time. Thank you. Now, this is what death is. Look at this. Liberation. And it says, death is liberation from bondage, limitations, the mind and ego. It's liberation from attachments. So rejoice. So when your loved one has actually merged and is not in physical form anymore, instead of feeling so sad and so sorry about that, celebrate. Really celebrate, because he or she is not attached to any of those things, which is, you know, bondages, limitations, the mind and ego. It's free. It's completely free. And my mother, after she merged, she visited me and she took me to the place where she is as a soul. And I can tell you is what we can call paradise. Beautiful. And she explained to me how in that that higher sphere of existence, she was given an assignment. So the souls don't stop learning, growing, experiencing, taking on board projects. That doesn't end. So for any of you who were fearing death because you thought that there's nothing else after this, please open up and really consider that there is more. Got it? I can feel some weight being lifted. Right? It's like, oh, yeah, so I can continue. Yes, you can continue. Got it? Now, this is a
you
good
asked
one.
me to, Alejandra, you just
Yeah.
help me asked me to help you keep time. It's 3:50. Did you have a 20-minute guided meditation or something we were gonna do, or
Yes. So we have to
so
move
just
on
to keep
that.
that in mind, it's 3:50. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Just very quickly. Okay. So you can actually, for your very own benefit and the benefit of your loved one, okay, you can start seeing death as a reason to celebrate. And you can actually communicate that to your loved one. You can celebrate that you are moving on to a higher level, you are moving on to a new dimension, you are moving into something new and wonderful, right? Because remember this, it's a cycle completion. And completing a cycle is a great accomplishment. It's like when you graduate from high school and then you move on to college, or to learn some technical, do something technical, but you move on, you carry on, you don't get stuck. So you are free for a new beginning. And that's an enough reason to celebrate. How is that? Okay. So there's nothing to fear about this. Absolutely nothing. And actually, some people have this fear about pain. That some people will experience a lot of pain when dying. Now, the thing is that when the soul is actually detaching from the body, there is no physical sensation or whatsoever. Okay, so if you had that idea, also just let it go. Yeah, and the best thing that you can do is surrendering to the process and really trust that your soul has all the information to support you as well. So don't let your ego hijack your mind and tell you stories inflicting fear and doubt and so on, and get you all confused. I hope that that this has helped to at least, you know, get some clarity. I saw that there is a question. Okay, Amy says, my granddaughter's mother passed in January, and her daughter is suffering a lot. Perhaps her mother's soul is in limbo. How do we encourage her mother to join the ancestors? Amy, you can actually talk to your, goddaughter. You can talk to her and explain. And actually, perhaps it will be good to invite her to our new conversation. Well, the next class that we have with Kathy. Can I share, Kathy? Since yeah, 19th of September, you can invite her. So, because it's very important that when someone has actually moved, the ones who are left on the physical plane are pain-free. They're not suffering. We have to go on to full acceptance and embracing the process. Now, whether that soul is in limbo or not, we don't know. It's just a supposition until we confirm it. Okay. Amy, just please tell me if that answers your question.
So you're suggesting I invite my goddaughter to come to our conversation?
Yes, please, on the 19th.
Okay.
I agree.
And should I talk to her mother who's passed, who's merged?
If you have that ability, why not?
Okay, I think I was asking for a little guidance because you said when you went to your grandfather's house, you said, Grandpa, it's okay for you to join the ancestors because we've all moved on.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. And also it will be good for her or for anyone who is stuck in suffering mode to release that. It will be very helpful. And actually, Kathy, can she share this recording?
Of course, yeah, I'll share the recording of this with you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
And
you
you
can
know,
share.
it's so funny. While you're talking, Alejandra, I got a text from my goddaughter.
Where's the same?
And her name is Alejandra.
Oh,
At the text.
there's no coincidence.
At that very moment that we were discussing this.
Yeah. Yeah. See, we're in sync. We are connected because we are pure consciousness. Yeah.
Thank you.
And you can ask her also to talk to me if she wants to. Yeah. But yes, there's something that can be done.
She
Very
would
good.
like to talk to you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Very good.
There was
very
one more
good.
question from Eva. If it's true that there's nothing to fear about death, then why do so many people fight it?
Oh, okay. Very good question, Eva. And the reason for that is misinformation, lack of knowledge. Because tell you what, for whatever reason, there is a lot of information that has been hidden from us, or the information has been distorted and then given to us. Got it? There are many groups that have hidden agendas for us, humanity, not to flourish the way that we are meant to. However, it is our own responsibility to find our way to sources of information that is, they are kept in integrity, and then we also ourselves, we begin to have experiences. Got it? We have to learn to connect ourselves with our divine self and have that direct connection. And when we are connected and we get the right kind of information, then there is no space for fearing, because actually you will know deep in your heart, you know, what is what. And more than being guided by what you hear, there is a point in time in our lives when we have to rely on a teacher or someone to guide us. But then we should not stop there. We have to investigate ourselves. We have to put ourselves right in the middle of the fry pan, the hot fry pan, and have our own experiences. That's the best teacher. Okay? Clear? So, all right. So you can also send me questions if we finish, and then you have more questions. Later I will share my contacts, and we will move on to the process. Got it? Very good, very good. Very proud of you guys for learning. Excellent. Way to go. Hannah. Okay. And how many of you are familiar with mantras? Mantras? Who love mantras? Yes. Okay, love mantras. Mantras are wonderful. I got out of deep holes in my life thanks to Kriya Yoga. It's a practice of mantra. Okay, and there is one particular mantra that actually helps the soul to go on their journey, because through this mantra the soul is reminded of its eternal nature. Got it? And it works on helping the ones who are still in physical form to release whatever pain, whatever sadness is left in the person, to heal our hearts. And the mantra is just one word. I will write it on the chat. Is Akal. A-K-A-L. Akal. Okay. Hang on. Okay. All right. So we will chant this just for a little while, and I will play a recording. I want to know if you can hear this. Yes? Okay. So bring your hands over your heart, connecting with your divine self, and connect with that loved one that you feel will benefit from this chanting. Got it? Just invite that loved one. And we begin just by chanting, sounding Akal. And make sure that you elongate the Ah. The Ah sound is the sacred universal sound for divinity in whatever form you conceptualize divinity to be. Ah, akal, and also pronounce well the L at the end. Akal. Got it? And just begin. I'll tell you when to stop. Akal. Continue with akal, healing your own heart about any misconception about death, what it represents, what it means. Acknowledging the nature of your own soul, which is eternity, infinity. And as you acknowledge the eternity within your own self, then you can acknowledge eternity within anybody else, especially your loved one. Akal. And since the nature of the soul is eternal, then there is no reason really for fearing death. From now on, consider fear of death as an illusion, the Maya. It's nothing but an illusion. And as you hear the akal, you can just tell yourself very softly and gently, and acknowledge, I acknowledge my divinity. I acknowledge my true self. I acknowledge that I am an eternal being, regardless of whatever I have heard in the past. For I declare myself anew I declare myself free from any limitations, fears, distortions about death. Acknowledging that what is called death in human terms is nothing but the completion of a cycle. So therefore, fear has no place in me. The truth shall set you free, once said a beloved master that you know. And it is true. The truth sets you free. When you know what is and what is not, there is no space for confusion or distortion. Acknowledging the divine within. Call forth the eternity from within to bathe every single fiber of your being, akal, undying, eternal, akal. That is your nature. And just say to yourself, I reclaim my eternity now, for I am an eternal being and nothing else. I am my divine self now. Be connected. Focus. Focus on that divinity within yourself. And continue chanting Akal. Akal. Continue. Akal. And with your eyes closed, remain present to your own divinity. Remain present to the nature of your soul, which is eternity. Feeling so grateful for your soul, for your existence. Feeling so grateful for the soul of your loved ones. Each and every one. Feeling so grateful for their existence, for the gift that that loved one provided for you. Knowing that consciousness is a bridge, and through your consciousness, you are always connected. You may not see each other physically, however, you are connected. From here now until eternity, always as one. Feeling good, feeling grateful. Feel the lightness in your heart. And with a smile on your face, just give thanks for this moment, for this connection. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Very well done, everyone. Thank you so much. Will anyone would like to share in a nutshell what your experience was, how you feel now, especially if you were feeling a bit down or somehow heavy and you feel lighter, please share. We're in time, Kathy.
I think, yeah, I would like to say that if anyone would like to say how you're feeling or how that was in chat, that would be really great. We're both going to share, well, first of all, Alejendrah, thank you so much for sharing that powerful and beautiful information with us. We're going to share with everyone a little bit how to contact us. I know that people have questions for Alejendrah, and if you'd like to connect with me, that'd be great. And also let you know that we will stay on for another 30 minutes after this ends, and you know, so we have more questions that can be answered, or you can share more intimately in a group. Let's have you share a little bit, Alejendrah, how they connect with you if they have more questions.
Thank you. Well, there you have my contact details. Just so you know, my website is under construction, so you will not probably find much there, but you can actually text me, WhatsApp or Telegram, or send me an email. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that may pop up after this, because we just did this process and it's just a teeny tiny one, but then probably as you move on through the day, or well, the rest of the day, or even next couple of days, something might just boom, pop up. So feel free just to send any questions. Yeah, we'll be happy to be there with you in that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Alejendrah. And for our friends who are new to me, I invite you to take a screenshot or, you know, a photo of this so you can connect with me in the future if you like. You can check out my website, join my Facebook group, and just connect with me via email or through Doug, our mutual friend. And thank you so much for being part of this. Also, this is a gift of love from Alejendrah and I, and we're so happy that you've joined us. And if you'd like to share a love offering of any amount, that's always lovely to share the energy to keep these circles and live events for healing going forward. So that's my Venmo. You can always Venmo me. Thank you. And I'm just going to show you the lineup for the Healing Arts Circles that are coming up next. So as Alejendrah said, in 2 weeks, we have a kind of a part 2 of our series, and we will be looking at sadness and grief and what they're all about and how you can transform them right into a source of inner peace, how that could be a blessing for you. So please do share that with other friends who weren't here today. Just take a look at all the other topics I have, and again, take a screenshot if you like. Would love to see you again in the circle. So I also just want to show you, for people who are in Southern California or want to come down here, I have a lineup of in-person events at my home here in Irvine, and the one that's coming up is on the 18th, so it's the day before Alejendrah and my Transcending Peace Circle. And that's, if for more information, you can text me, email me, or go to my website. And so that's a little bit how to stay in the healing circle with me and Alejendrah. So did you have a blessing for us, Alejendrah, before we officially close out today?
Yes.
Or any words you'd like to share? Okay,
yes.
Great, thank you.
And just before we do that, very quickly, thank you for those of you who have shared how you felt after the process. Doreen says, I feel tingling sensations on my face, feeling calm, very calm, and breathing very deeply in my presence, in my being. Thank you, Doreen. Juliana says there is a tingling, cool sensation in my heart right now. Wonderful. And Dag says more peaceful. Thank you so much. Well done, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So let's just just hands on your heart, just connect with your own divinity and connecting with the divinity of all of us here. One big divinity. So wonderful. Just see ourselves connecting all these little dots around the world, creating a wonderful, huge golden sphere. And let's send this sphere of love and blessings and lightness about the topic of death to any other person that really needs it, because there's so much confusion and fear about around this topic. So just send them a mental message right now and just share something uplifting with that person or people. And just visualize that golden energy just lifting up their spirits. If anyone is sad, heartbroken, despair, confused, fearful, just visualize that golden light just puffing up that right now. Thank you. And this is how we actually support each other, by lifting up that energy, because we're all energy and we're in it together. So thank you so much, each and every one of you. Thank you, Kathy, for the space, and I really look forward to seeing you again on the 19th. And please invite friends or families that you know that are going through a process of grief. We will do powerful processes. So thank you so much for helping us help you. Thank you. Namaste.
Yeah, namaste. Thank you, Alejendrah. Thank you all for your conscious participation in the circle. Your energy, your beautiful heart is so needed at this time. And namaste, and stay on if you'd like to share, if you have a question. If you are leaving now, I hope to see you later. Thank you. Hugs. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy and Susie. Thank you, Juliana and Richie. It's great to meet you. Oh, good. John has a question.
Hi,
Yep.
Alejendrah. This is one of the best presentations I have witnessed in years, and I would like to share it with every person I know, because it will benefit everyone I know. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving this to us, and I will request a recording of it. Also, question now, will the recording also include the question and answers, because they are also informative?
So yes, I sometimes end right at the very formal end, but if you'd like, I will keep this portion available too, to share with others who aren't here today.
Excellent, yes.
Thank you. You have a question, John?
That was basically my question. The questions, are they incorporated with the recording? Because just from the chat column here, the questions are just as informative as the answers.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Yeah.
Richie, did you have a question? And then there were a few questions in the chat that I'm going to read to you, Alejendrah. Yes. How about you, Richie? Did you want to share?
I'm just unmuting myself.
There you go.
First off, thank you, and both Alejendrah and Kathy. That was amazing. It's neat how this worked out. 2 days ago, I actually, in my writing chair, I asked myself.
Sorry, Richie. Sorry. It's really hard to hear you. Can you speak a bit louder, please?
Yes, I'm sorry. Is that better?
Better. Yes, way better. Now I can hear you.
Yeah, so it's neat. It's neat how this worked out, because 2 days ago, I asked myself, might I be scared of death? Because for the longest time, I've always told myself that I don't fear it whatsoever. But I now after having listened to the both of you and kind of thought on a few points, the key thing that stuck out to me was your reminder that next time we feel the fear of death, to remember that it's an illusion. And yeah, so that to me was just tremendous, because as simple as it may seem, if you're not aware that you're afraid of death, which I've always told myself that I wasn't, that's not something I could even recognize. So that was just great. That was great. And I had my question though was that, being that I've only asked myself this, am I scared of death 2 days ago? When everybody had an answer to what part of death are you scared of, maybe because it's so new to me, I didn't really have a place to start. I just, it's a possibility, and now I'm leaning towards yes. But as I answer yes, I guess I just haven't thought about it, and I'm not sure where to begin or where to start with regards to what might I be scared of when it comes to death.
Yeah, well, next time that thought comes, this is what I always tell my students. I have some students from class here, and they know. Just think of thoughts as clouds. Okay, so whenever you see a cloud in the sky, that cloud won't stay there forever. The cloud will just pass by, correct?
Yeah.
So if you have a fearful thought, think of it as a cloud. Just let it pass. And the way to hook onto that thought like this is by thinking about it. And it could be any thought. And the nature of our minds, okay, we generate between 45,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day. That is a heck of a lot of thoughts.
Sure.
Right? So don't get a mental diarrhea. Let it go.
Okay.
Okay.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. It's perfect. Okay. Thought comes. Oh my God, I'm not sure if I am scared about this. Just let it go, man. Don't hook onto that. Be at peace. Okay.
Right on. I like that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you thank you. Richie, where, how did you hear about this circle? I was curious.
I was browsing. I had just finished a poetry meetup, or looking at one.
A meetup.
And that's how I came across this group.
Cool. And where did you say you live? I'm just curious.
North County, so Oceanside, San Diego.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Just so happy to meet you. That's wonderful. Thank you for your questions and your thoughtfulness.
Thank you,
Doreen,
Kathy.
do you have, oh, thank you so much. Doreen, do you have a question? If not, oh, Doreen, hi.
No, I don't have question.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Alejandra, there was a question in chat by Eva, and she said, and I don't remember exactly, exactly what you were talking about at the time. She says, does this hold true for our animals as well?
Very interesting.
So,
I love to answer that.
Yeah, why don't we do that? Because I know Eva had to leave early and she wanted me to share this recording with her.
Yeah, so animal souls, actually, they are a little bit different from a human soul. So animals actually belong more to a collective soul. So their path of destiny is quite different from our path of destiny. And something that you need to know is that animals the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom or elemental kingdom, they already have transcended. They are on a much higher vibration than we humans are, or most humans are. So if you have the blessing of having a pet with you, just know that that soul is serving you, okay? It's helping you on your journey. And that cat or dog, bird, whatever it is that you have at home is actually has agreed to be of your service, so that through your interaction and examples, right, you are actually watching. So then, I mean, if you have the grace of having a pet at home, learn from your beloved pet as much as you can. And the same holds true for the elemental kingdom, be it plants, crystals. You see my home, I got lots of quartz everywhere. You don't see them all here, but I have lots of plants. And it's really good to surround yourself with nature at home. So I hope, Eva, that answers your question. So we don't have to be worried about, you know, our pets' souls, because they are already in a much higher level of existence. Got it? Yeah, they are good. They're really, really good. And they are super resilient, because they don't have something called ego. That structure was not given to animals. It was given to human beings. And that's the big challenge. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for answering that question. Yeah. John, do you have any other questions, or Richie, would you like to share anything?
Yes, one point I'd like to make to Alejendrah and the rest, and I haven't heard it mentioned anywhere before, but I truly believe it, and it's on our list. The biggest problem is human beings, I am convinced, are incapable of comprehending the concept of nothingness. It is beyond our ability to comprehend, but I have the closest thing I can give you at a concrete level. Have any of you ever been under general anesthesia, preparing to go into major surgery? Well, you can vouch for the fact that once that anesthesia hits, which is in a split second, you are out and you are in a state of nothingness. And when you eventually wake up, you have no concept that any time has passed. And moreover, as you emerge from your unconscious state while under anesthesia, you will remember that it is a gradual process of emerging from darkness, and you will see in front, you will first hear the sound return as you come out of it. You will first hear the sound around you return. Then gradually your eyesight will progress from zero out of darkness, and gradually you will regain your eyesight, and it looks specifically like an expanding funnel, a funnel of light out of total darkness, and in a matter of a minute or two, that funnel will give you full range of sight. So it's a funnel emerging from total darkness, and that is what you go through emerging from general anesthesia. And that may give you a frame of reference, I believe. What the closest we can describe nothingness as is being under general anesthesia.
I would like to share something. Thank you so much, John.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Actually, I will share from experience that it's not so much that humans are incapable of experiencing nothingness. It's just that there is not enough information. And also, a lot of people actually will hold themselves back from finding out about it because of fear. I mean, you know, it's a big fear of a human being that, you know, to find out that there is nothingness, and therefore, you know, if there is nothingness, therefore I don't exist, and then the whole, you know, mental thing starts kicking in, and it creates a lot of confusion, delusion, etc. But there are trainings, actually. I've gone through those trainings where you can actually get to that point of nothingness and experience yourself in that space. It is possible. However, I mean, if anyone is interested about that, has to really be trained to get to that space. And what you mentioned, John, about going through general anesthesia, I have gone through that a couple of times for surgery. And when I had this death experience, in that space, I did experience what is called the nothingness, but it's not really nothingness. It's actually the allness, if we can say it. Because in that space, it's not that there is nothing, it's that it's everything is one. What I experienced there was the state of oneness. Because in that space, there is no separation. You can really, that was my experience. I felt that I was part of the all there is. There is no separation, and that all there is was me. So, and it was a wonderful experience to have. And then when I came back to the physical body, that was the weirdest experience, because then from being that oneness, then became a teeny tiny dot, and it felt so comprised in the physical body. It was just really weird, super weird. But then it's because of all the conditioning that we have gone through life. You know, we tend to think that we are just this physical form, but we're not this. This is just a shell that we borrow. Yeah, so that's why when we chant Akal, that helps us remember that we are eternity. So we are eternity walking in human bodies. Yeah, I think that's a good one to share. Thank you for mentioning that, John. Thank you so much.
One last thing. For many decades now, I have been an advocate for people to keep a writing tablet at their bedsides every night with pen. And if you have a very unusual dream, and they don't come frequently necessarily, but very unusual and strikingly unusual, as soon as you awaken, write down all the details, because you will begin to forget important details in a matter of seconds after you wake up. So I have had occasions where I instantly did the right thing. It only happens to me maybe once every 10 years or so, but I fortunately had the writing pad. Immediately write down as many details as fast as you can write them before you begin to forget. Then sit down, try and make sense of it, analyze, interpret, derive meanings, applications for them. And in one case, I actually took an entire 12 hours after this process and composed and typed an actual manuscript, comprehensive, including practical interpretations. I might forward it to you. I entitled the article "Race Against Time, the Undelivered Eulogy" is how I titled. And that's just one example, but also beautiful dreams, very brief dreams, but they came out unbelievably beautiful. And ironically, one of those dreams I had during the feast day of St. John the Baptist, a beautiful little dream where I felt like I was floating, being carried into heaven. And when I awakened from it, I wrote it down. It was a very simple, quick experience, once in a lifetime dream experience. I've never had anything before or anything since like that happen. That is something to be treasured.
Thanks for sharing that, John. Richie had a question. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, actually, to chime in with, along with my personal experience with regards to what it is that you guys were touched on with nothingness, training and oneness, or the universal one. So for myself, I had no formal training, but just through personal meditative practicing and whatnot, taking it seriously and whatnot, my own words of reaching that level that I believe I reached of being able to get to nothingness is, and realizing also that the experience of oneness is that focus on focus and light will shine, focus on truth and light shall emanate from within. And that's at a point, those were my words describing my meditation with regards to the process of it, where I realized that I was my own best friend, and it wasn't transformation, it was transfiguration in a way. And by doing so, it was kind of in reverse, because when you were talking about the nothingness, you get to the nothingness and then the light, and then once you can get there and maintain nothingness, then that's when, instead of having moments of light to shine, light just, you can turn it on and off, and it's beautiful, it's amazing. And so I've experienced what you guys have talked about, and I'm just glad to be back in the fold, because I've kind of strayed from it for a few years, because I was dealing with my own, problems or whatnot. But now that I'm back on track and finding that groove, this has been so inspirational. So thanks, and I can really relate to everything you guys are talking about. It's powerful.
Thank you, Richie.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you all for sharing. And this is lovely to have this intimate time to share our thoughts, and it's delicious. Real quick, I want to ask John, does John and Alejendrah, did you know each other before this? Or John, how did you find the circle?
Well, I got a bulletin from St. Joe's Hospice in the city of Orange.
Yes.
And I used to live in the Anaheim area, and city of Orange is one of my favorite little cities. It always has been one of my favorite little cities. And so that's how I got involved. But then I moved to downtown Los Angeles. And so for several years, I discontinued my correspondence, but I'm getting back involved as soon as I recuperate from a knee surgery I had recently. But I keep in touch with St. Joe's. And that's another one of my favorite little programs, is their hospice program. So I'll return to it soon.
That's one from, go ahead.
I guess for both Alejendrah and Kathy, with regards to meditating, this is where I ended my practice a few years back. And it might tie into the oneness. I hadn't looked at it like this until now, but I had reached the point where you could separate yourself from reality, but then the step further was separating yourself and another object in the present from reality. And that's where I kind of ended my practice. But at that time, when I think about it now, if you're able to separate yourself with another object and just you two with the eyes open, that's almost like a sense of oneness. Would that might not be, or that was just through dedication and practice. I'm not sure if you guys have any feedback. I haven't talked to many people about that because I am not really surrounded by many people who live a certain lifestyle.
Alejendrah, I'm just gonna say, just short and sweet, my philosophy is that when I meditate, I think meditation is connecting and unifying. So for me, it's connecting and just being with the wholeness of the universe. So I would never, for me personally, feel like I'm separating from anything. And then the thoughts, like sometimes people try to be in nothingness and not have thoughts, but then like Alejendrah said, oh, there's a cloud, and now I'm gonna connect my essence and my mind and my heart, just being in the oneness. So that's unification and knowing I'm I am a little teeny star in all the universe of stars. And so for me, that's meditation. When I get to that sweet spot, I guess.
And
Alejendrah,
so,
did you want?
oh,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
no,
go ahead, Ricky.
I agree with you 100%, Kathy. It's just, I guess, once you hit that sweet spot, I reached, I guess, like, I came to basically a choice of being able to hold that sweet spot and then go that step further. And maybe the choice is not necessarily the right choice, or maybe it is a good choice. Maybe it's something not to explore, but that's what I meant by folk. Or yeah, I agree with you 100%, Kathy. Yeah, I guess it's just like a,
Yeah.
yeah. So.
Yeah, and then actually,
can I just add something to that? Thank you. So for me, that the practice of meditation is to remind myself of that divinity within myself and just be that as much as I can. And during the day, to allow that divinity to be front, not the self. And it's not easy at times, but then, you know, as one persists, then that becomes more and more easier. And the beauty of that is that actually permeates those around us. And we may not be aware of the impact. However, because we are pure energy beings and we are all impacting each other with our energy field, definitely there is an effect of being connected. Yeah. And at some level, you know, that will remind others that they can do it too and encourage them to do it too. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
yes, thank you so much. That was one I really enjoyed our after party here of sharing these ideas and getting more connection and insight and clarity.
Yeah, look forward to
Doreen.
seeing you guys in the next group. Look forward to seeing you guys in the next group.
I want to share my experience when I'm meditating. There was a point of time I was observing myself to so subtle breathing, and I was like literally observing. I wasn't even breathing at all. And I start to observe my physical self. It's like there's no feeling. And then my energy is merging with the surrounding like air. That was how I feel, being oneness.
Nice.
Thank you, Doreen. It's so great to hear from you. And I was nodding my head because sometimes I just stop breathing, and I know I'm just being, and I know that I'm connected to Earth and there's a body, but then it's just merging with yeah.
Right,
everything.
I feel the merging as well as the energy. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. So thank you again. We'll all say goodbye for now, but I hope to see you, John and Richie and Doreen. Of course, I'll see you, Alejendrah, in 2 weeks on the 19th at the same time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And to those who actually, I have several people who sign up, but they were not able to be present.
Yeah.
But thank you, everyone. Tim, Charla, Nabil, Paulina, and there was another one. Thank you so much for showing up in the recording. And to all who are watching this.
I love how you acknowledge them too. They're all in the circle as well. Okay. Namaste.
Thank you.